So about 3 days ago, I put up a poll on our community tab asking where we should go next, and I am in that place now.
It is so busy.
The two options we had from Trenton, Georgia were either the Great Smoky Mountains or Mammoth Cave. And we looked at campsites that were available in the area and decided on Mammoth Cave because we were able to find a spot here at Dog Creek Campground. We've had a lot of luck going to Corps of Engineers sites. So places like Cherry Creek Reservoir, we went to one in Alabama, I cannot remember the name of it, but they're typically inexpensive. So I think we're $32 a night here, but they're also typically very well kept. We're here for 4 nights and then heading towards Little Rock, Arkansas. Here at Dog Creek Campground, we've had a really good time so far. We've actually spent a day hiking at Mammoth Cave and just generally having a good time around here. We met our neighbors to the north of us a couple of nights ago. They actually invited us over for dinner. It happened to have been the night we got here and we were both famished, so we had already eaten, but I hung out and talked to them for a few minutes. It's kind of nice. This is a great locals campground. Our neighbors were here with 11, I think they said they had 11 sites between them and their family members and friends, and they were here celebrating their youngest daughter's birthday. A lot of times I start campground tours from our site and then kind of move around back to our site again. In this case, I'm gonna end at our site. I'm gonna start at the gate. Things to know about the Dog Creek Campground before we start walking through. There are 3 loops at the entry of Loop A and B. There's a couple of primitive sites. Looks like they're meant for for like tent campers, but there's definitely enough space in all those spots to back a small trailer into. So loops A and B, the majority of them have water and electric hookup. Loop C, which is kind of barely a loop, it's really an out and back, is all primitive camping. Starting our tour, we are at the entry gate. The entry gate isn't manned very frequently, just a couple of hours a day, a few days a week. My guess is during the week that there are always sites open. On the weekends, like we got here on Saturday night, there was not a single space available. This is a bit of a unique feature for any campground we've been to so far, which is they have firewood for sale, but it's on the honor system, and so it's just a little gated off thing here. You go inside, pick up your firewood and leave. But another really cool thing about this is they have vegetables for sale, and it's sort of like a farmer's market. But another cool thing they have is this pantry here, showcasing a lot of local barbecue sauces, jams, jellies, and things like that. And the prices are very well visible inside, but it's just kind of a nice little unique feature of this campground. On the trip around Loop A, you'll see that there's actually a swimming beach, and we're gonna take a walk down there real quick. You can see from sites 6 and 9, you have an overlook of the water. 11 would have been great as well, especially in our trailer where we have the panoramic window in the back, which would have given us direct view of the lake from our dinette. I'm almost to our site, which is A19, but before we get there, I am gonna show off that we are across the street from the bathhouse. This is a shared bathhouse for all 3 loops, but it's pretty nice. 3 toilets, 3 showers in each. I'm gonna walk into our site, which is basically east facing. So the truck is facing east right now, the back is facing west. We've got a very good view of the northern sky, not a lot of foliage on our site specifically, but you can see there's a lot of shade to be had around. It's become common for me to comment on how Starlink is working, and so I will tell you that with the north-facing view, we have very good service here. I've already mentioned it standing at another site, but I will point out we do have water and electric here. So we do have 50 amp service as well as water. Sewer we're gonna have to dump on the way out, not a big deal. And I'm gonna walk to the back here so you can see what our view is from our rear panoramic view at the dinette. This is probably a great locals campground because it's big for boating. That's relatively common for Corps of Engineers sites because typically Corps of Engineers sites relates to dams in some way. On Saturday night and Sunday morning, we noticed how busy the boat ramp was. There were probably at 6:30, 7 o'clock, a line of 10 trucks waiting to come pick up boats. And on Sunday morning, just one after the other was putting in. When visiting national parks, sometimes you have popular national parks and sometimes you have not so popular national parks.
And sometimes you misjudge the popularity of the national park.
And sometimes you misjudge the popularity of a national park. So, like Wind Cave was not super busy. And Badlands was even less busy. And I think we thought Mammoth Cave was going to be like those.
But it wasn't.
But it's not. It is a lot more like Yellowstone.
It is so busy.
Basically every tour is sold out today. And we knew that. We wanted to come by and decide whether it was worthwhile to come back on a different day. Mammoth Cave National Park is located in south central Kentucky and boasts the longest known cave system in the world at 426 miles, nearly double the length of Wind Cave National Park. The caves were formed by limestone washing away in the water, leaving the sandstone behind. While there were many tours offered, we chose to do the self-guided tour and get a glimpse of what lay beneath, approximately 160 feet below the surface. Beyond the cave system, there are also miles of trails that we decided to partake in. We hiked Echo River Spring Trail, where we got up close with a few deer that were feeding just off the trail. Then we moved on to the Dixon Cave Trail, where we read about the cave. It is a nesting ground for bats, and if you are there near dusk, you will likely see them emerging from the cave. Both of these trails run very close to the Green River, and it can easily be seen from many of the overlooks on the hike. The self-guided cave tour and the hiking trails weren't busy at all. On the hike, we only saw 2 other groups. Thanks for coming along with us on our trip to Kentucky. We hope you keep following along and decide to subscribe if you find this valuable. A lot of times you can end up walking around these places looking like a lunatic because you're holding a camera in your own face and presumably talking to it.